So I'm going to start my swatching by company. Anderillium's up first. My tools, I've got my fountain pendulum stand, 3-pen stand, my River City Penco dip nib holder, my Colorverse shuttle nib. I got the aluminum, my glass spoon that I got from Fountain Pendulum. I'm going to be swatching these Avery multi-use labels for the tops of my containers, or these don't have boxes, but I think I'm just going to put a swatch dot on the back of those. But this was a Motor City Detroit Pen Show, so I'll put that on top of the box, and then we'll go from there. So let's get started. Of course, I've got my little pots of water off to the side. This one is the summer version, and here we go. I'll put my little swatch card behind, so we don't know how these are going to perform. And then for the companies, I am just going to be using the one side of the page. I'm not going to use the back sides for the company ones. And actually, I have to take a few more sheets. There we go. So let's start with Cuttlefish Brown. And let's zoom in a little closer. Here we go. I don't think any of these have shimmer. And I don't really know what I'm going to do swatching wise. Care does the up and down, and then she does, dots across, but that might just be what I do. Might be a little too aggressive a swatch, but and since the company's up there, I don't need to do that. Ooh. I do like that color. I don't know if I'm going to want that big a swatch when it's company that I have a lot of inks for, so let's try not to be quite so generous with the real estate on the next one. And then this one is Colossel Squid Dark. I'll just give it a little twist. Like I said, I don't think it has any. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to have to seek help. I'll be right back. Okay, always good to be able to get an assist when you can't open a bottle. This is the Colossal Squid Dark. I'm going to be a little more mindful of what I'm doing here, she says. Not like this book doesn't have a ton of pages, and it's not like I'll ever use all of this ink. Next time, somebody remind me to do the little dot swatch before I clean off the spoon. Ha! Be like an old hat at this soon, right? I'm going to see if I do that on the bottle. I don't have as much of a mess. This is a cool color. Kind of like a green with a gray undertone. I like that. Next up is the Banded King Shoemaker Butterfly Blue. They don't have small titles, but they do have attractive packaging, so we'll give them that. Maybe I'll do my little dot first. Oh yeah. The dots are on those little removable labels, so they're not like you're putting it on some nice paper and going to get a good color, but it really does give you a good representation. And so if you're looking in a drawer or your box that has all your white ink boxes, give you a little clue what you're looking for. Yeah, I'm liking that. It's not a total mess. Alrighty. I'm going to do my dip, and then I am going to put the top on the bottle because I'm a little freaked about having to see the name. So this is banded. I just love the River City Pen Co. nibs. They're so comfortable. Shoemaker. Butterfly. Blue. You know, I could do some lines or something, but I'm not going to do them. I do like to practice. I have a little extra ink. That is very pretty. And then the last one for Anderillium is going to be this Motor City Pen Show Red, Crimson Red. This is the last one for here, so I'll move it up a little bit. Ooh, yes, it's red. So I'm going to do my little swatch first. Alrighty. That red is red. Same goes. Let's get the top on this. I'm just going to put that it was the Detroit Pen Show 2025, which is special because it was my first pen show. All right, let's let these dry, and I'll make sure my swatching things are all cleaned off, and I will let you know how they look when they're done. Pretty much dry. While that last little bit of that crimson red is drying, I'm just going to show you that I put the little dots on the back of these bottles because the tops of the bottles have the attractive labels on them. And then this one, I just put the red dot on the top so that when it's in the box, I'll know there's some kind of red in there. And I store these in a box by manufacturer. So here we go. I'm going to stand up and give you a view of these Anderillium inks. I have 4 in my collection. Cuttlefish brown is just really a nice chocolate brown. This is the Colossel Squid Dark. I've had this a couple of times in pens. It's a dark teal. Has a lot of, well, I wouldn't even call it shimmer, but there is a little bit there with a little red. This is the Butterfly Blue that has a much longer name than that, but it's really pretty legible when you write too. And then the Motor City Crimson Red. It's really interesting that it has the green shade shimmer to it when it's dry. So I am going to be making the more permanent tabs for this, and then I'll use these tabs I use first. I'll put these on my big craft table, and I'm going to start to line my inks up by color so that when I get to the back part where I'm doing by color family, they'll all be ready to go. Thanks for coming along, and I hope you have some inky fun. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and come along with me on my fountain pen and ink adventures. Have a great day. I have a little addendum, which I have to do for all of these inks. I turned the page and I did have a little bleed through with the Shoemaker Butterfly Blue and just a little tiny bit on the Colossel Dark Squid. So I want to be able to show that. Nothing much with the writing, so I think normal journaling I wouldn't have any problem, but I do want to show what is really going on with the papers and the inks. Now I'm done. Bye. It's a bright, sunshiny day here in Michigan. What a good day to do my Amarillo Stationery inks today, and I have 4 of them currently. I am going to the Chicago Stationery Fest next week, and Amarillo Stationery is going to be there, so I'm hoping to add more to my collection. So I have my usual tools, my fountain pendulum spoon, glass spoon, my River City Pen Company nib holder with my Colorverse shuttle nib, some pots of water off to the side, my Inky towel, and my inks that come in these adorable boxes. So I'm just going to quick show you that if you line the boxes up, they make the entire little guy. Isn't that sweet? So well thought through for everything. I have already swatched these and put a color on the back because I know what the boxes are, so I don't need to put something on the top. And let's get going. Let's start out with from the top to the bottom of this little guy. Okay. So we are going to start with blue suntan. And I think maybe I'll zoom in so you can see the swatches. There we go. Now the first time I did this, I really went too far over because I want to be able to have this if I ever put it in a loose leaf notebook to be able to do that. And let's put a good dollop down there. I don't think I got a very good dollop down there, but it's going to be a pretty good representation. These inks really perform well in any pen I've put them in, so that is great. I think if I ever have to go to a new page on all of these, I'm just going to put a new sticker down. Blue suntan. So this is the color of the little guy's face. And then the next one we're going to do is teal waistband. Make sure I got the spoon clean. Well, I got a good enough dollop down there, didn't I? And this is teal waistband. Well, nobody's going to spell check me, right? The next one is Toasty Joggers. This is the one I have currently in my beautiful coffee pen from Relic Pen. I did a video on that, and every time I write with that pen, I smile, and this ink makes me smile too. Well, we are really going to see if this is going to come through, because that's a generous dollop I put down there. Guess the blotting card does better under my hand, right? Toasty Joggers. As long as I still have some left on my nib, I should be practicing my lines. And then the last one I have right now, because I hope it's not going to be my last one for quite a bit. Boy, can you see that nice sunshine coming in? Might not make for the best video, but it sure makes me smile to see the sunshine. And this is something I can't pronounce that I'm going to ask him when I see him next week. But is the color of their little shoes. This is really nice. It's not really orange. It's more of a red color. Ooh, I'm going to get some pooling there. And he calls this Orange Kicks. So maybe he does think it's a kind of orange. Let's see if my URNG Kicks. Oh, I got some nice juicy color on that. Orange Kicks. Look at that adorable packaging. Put that out a little bit. All right. Well, we're gonna let these dry and see how they look when they're dry, and then see how they performed on the other side of the page too. So thank you for coming today to see my Amarillo Stationers inks. Well, my beautiful Amarillo Stationery inks are all dry now. I'm going to zoom in so you can see them. This is the blue Suntan, Teal Waistband, Toasty Joggers, and then Orange Kicks. Little less zoom so you can see them all together. And then I am really pleased with how these performed on this Hobonichi paper. So on the back, there is a little bleed through, but nothing major, nothing at all on the writing. So you could write and put a little bit of a drawing in there. There are places where I put it down pretty heavy. So I am very pleased with how this is coming out. And then just to show my little index tabs, I finished those up. I'm really happy with how those worked out too. Learned my lesson from zooming in. But some had to be a little more compact than others. But I think this is going to work out. And I like that they're all can move around, so they're just removable tabs. And then what I'll do is I have the ones that I had for placeholders. I'm going to put those on my big craft desk, and then when I swatch by company, then I go, well, this is in the brown, this is going to be in with the green, that's going to be in with the blues, and this is going to be in with my reds and oranges. And so when I go to do my swatches on the color page, it should be a little easier to do that. So, ooh, who knew all the different things you could do with your iPhone? Anyway, there we are. And the next one up is going to be Birmingham Pen Company.